Anyway, we're back. We know how to deal with interference. We just keep on going. So we don't stop. We don't freak out. We don't hold our breath. We don't do none of that. We just breathe and go through the process and get to the other side. So anyway, we're talking about the narrow path. So when you're on the narrow path, as Jesus the Christ referred to, oh, do expect all kinds of little stuffs along the road, that try to trip you up or to gather your attention someplace else, or distractions and all of that. That's power of the course. But when you have a vision and a mission, you're crystal bubbling clear on where you are headed and what you are doing. And as you walk on this path of light, and why do you want to walk on the path of light? Why do you want to unfold your consciousness? Why do you want to have that sense of wonderment? Why is it that you're like, I'm part of this, not just this world, but now we have the technology to see the massiveness of creation just in this universe. And so that wonderment of, I feel that I must know more, I must make known the unknown. And when you start on that path to make known the unknown, is when consciousness begins to expand. It begins, awareness becomes more broad. You begin to have a sense that, hey, I'm not just working on this level of the world, I am actually working on much higher levels. And this part of me is now becoming aware of that. Quite frankly, there are many of us that work, okay, in our dream state, our physical bodies that sleep, but not our consciousness, not our soul. We are busy doing much work on the inner planes. Many of us, most of us do not recall that. However, there are a few people I know personally who are able to recall their inner journeys when they go to sleep. And there's many of us that are getting little snippets of that as well, including myself, that we are beginning to put together a higher puzzle piece, a cosmic puzzle piece, and where we fit into that. That's when that guidance comes in. Is that, I need to be a healer. I feel I should take this course, or wow, I'm picking up divine synchronicity, or I found my tribe of people, or whatever it is that comes to you. You then begin that there's another higher level of communication that's speaking to you. And the more that you tap into that, like a muscle, it's a spiritual muscle. The more you stay on that higher frequency of light and communication, you get really grounded in that. And guess what? There's another tier and another tier and another tier. So there's many of us that I want to say that have incarnated at this time, where not only are we to work here in the physical realm within the gravitational pull of the planet. And, we do the things we do, whatever that is, we all have our specialty. But as we connect to the higher parts of ourselves, as we connect to our oversoul or to our higher self, okay, we will come to find out that we are requested by the Imi Shaddai, by the family of light, to work on that level too. Why? Because we are multidimensional beings. And this is the key. When you start tapping into the highest stralings of light, okay, your ability to hold light, okay, your light quotient increases. Okay, so not only are you impacting the physical, mental, and emotional world and environment you find yourself in, you are impacting on higher levels too. And that is for those on the journey, they come to this amazing surprise or delight that, oh my gosh, I impact on so many other levels. So one of the levels that we impact, and one of the things I want to talk about, the more that you can hold the light quotient, okay, the light, okay, and you hold the higher heart of unconditional love, okay, the compassionate heart of unconditional love, and you are able to hold light and maintain light like on a regular basis, and then each time you have a new octave. Wow, I've been operating on this light level, that all of a sudden you got a quantum leap. Whoa, I'm operating on a regular basis, not falling down to it, maintaining it. okay, then you have tremendous, tremendous power. You really do. And you can affect things, which is why when you are working in this, you must be very conscious and aware of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Because the fact is that you are a co creator. And when you hold a higher light quotient, your power is exemplified even more. So I'm bringing this to say really quick. The other day, last Monday, we had a special Monday, which we worked on dismantling lower thought forms, or those nefarious thought forms. This past Sunday, yesterday, we also did the same thing. And why did we do that? Why are we doing that? Because before things actually manifest into anything, isn't it not a thought? It is a thought. Thoughts are things, and energy follow thoughts. Now, you have good thoughts, you have wonderful and uplifting thoughts, but most certainly there are darker thoughts, thoughts that are lower, whole or lower energetic. That's here on the planet. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. So there's both. So what we want to do is to bring more of the higher thoughts, the uplifting thoughts. And where do those higher uplifting thoughts come from? They come from the higher realms of light. Where do those more negative thought forms come from, the nefarious lower energies? Well, they come from what I call the anti-human, or those energies that would prefer to just hold power over this creation and just keep things the way they are, war and suffering and things like that. There's a particular agenda, there's a purpose why they do it. They feel it benefits them on many different levels. Many humans get caught up into those lower thought forms. Okay, where most humans are just pawns. That's the truth, just pawns. And that is why you need to wake up, remember who you are, so you will not become a pawn. So you will not become a pawn from other forces that have their own agenda. We are independent, sovereign beings, and we have a right to live our life the way that we choose to do so. And guess what? We do. When you are awake and when you cannot be manipulated by lower thought forms, then there's the next step. And that next step is this: when you don't have to be reactive, you realize that you can be proactive. You can be, okay, the person, the one that says, that's not correct. I cannot agree with that. I must do something about it. And you take those steps to do it. So one of the things that we do as light workers, as mystics, as in the olden days they were called the prophets and so forth, is that we can now remember who we are and the power that we hold, and stop or intercept these lower thought forms, okay? And not, at least at the very minimum, we can have influence on them so the worst possibilities do not have to manifest itself. In other words, it's like we zap it, okay, before it can actually anchor onto the earth. And I want to say real quickly that things are very, very, what's the word I want to say? Things are high stakes right now. High stakes right now. The planet's getting ready to do a quantum leap. That those of us that are here to assist in that process. There are those that do not want that to happen. Okay, so we are at an important, crucial role at the moment. So all I want to say regarding that is that if you're listening to these words, okay, remember who you are and the power that you hold, and that you are a radiant being of light. Your source comes from the way, way high aeons of light. That's why we carry the similitude. That's why we have the memory. Okay. And so now, when you become empowered to make known the unknown, as you walk your path of light, okay, as you raise your consciousness, as you are determined to walk the narrow path of light that Jesus the Christ and others spoken of, okay, you have tremendous power. You can shift and change things. You can shift and change things. So you could walk into an environment that could be negative. There are people there and arguments over that energy, but you shift the energy. You bring the calmness. You bring the peace. You bring the tolerance. That's who you are. That's what Jesus the Christ and other prophets and avatars of light have done. Okay, we have that same similitude, and we are challenged to develop that as quickly as we can and put our input into the world and make it a better place. That's the job. So with that, I'm going to say namaste to our light workers on Facebook Live. Part two, we were cut off, but we are back and we will always remain back. So with that, I'll say namaste to our light workers on Facebook Live.